and welcome to another edition of the Throwing Bagels podcast. Jason Hamo here, along with Chris Douglas and Kevin Mooney. Guys, how you doing today?
Good. Pretty well, actually. Doing all right.
I'm glad to hear it. Guys, we have another amazing guest. Probably maybe even rank up as one of our most famous guests of all time at this point in our 100+ episodes we've done. He's an actor, a singer, a pianist, a recent new father for the second time, a 2009 Oswego State graduate, and it is the one and only Tamar Greene. Tamar, how you doing?
Wow, I'm good. I'm good. I'm hearing good things. I'm like, yeah, that happened. Yeah, that's really nice. Thank you. I'm well. It's good to be here with y'all.
So let's get right to it. In January, you finished up your run on Hamilton on Broadway as the longest running George Washington in the show's history after 10 years, which you said was a really, really special moment. What does it mean to have that title of the longest running George Washington?
Oh man, it's something I don't take lightly. The show is remarkable. I love it very much. It's been, they're going on their 11th year now. The company, I was in it for 7.5 years, joined in 2018, 2,043 performances, I believe it was, 2043. And it is, something while I was in the thing, I didn't really keep tally at all. A lot of people would ask me, like, how long have you done it? Blah, blah, blah. I knew the years, but I never knew the number. And then on my final day, Brig Burney, our company manager, he's really good with numbers and history and all that stuff. And he said it before our final, we always have a moment in the basement where we have happy trails and we all get to speak and bond with each other. And the person who leaves gets to talk to the people and just share a little something. So, Brig said my number, and the producer was there too to affirm that that I was the longest running, and it just kind of hit me then because I always thought so, but I didn't process it fully. But in these times afterwards, in the months afterwards, I'm like, wow, I did that. It is a tough show. It is really, really a tough show, and I talked to Chris a bunch about it. Chris Jackson, the original, about the feat of doing that show, and he was talking about different things, and there's a sword injury that a lot of Washingtons get, kind of like the sword shoulder basically. So the right shoulder is usually the injured shoulder, and he was talking about how it took him a while to get that back, and it just got me thinking about, like, wow, I've been in it for 7.5 years, and he did about a year, I think a year and change, and I'm like, that messed you up too, and I'm like, so like the task was heavy. The sword is heavy. Heavy is the crown, and I'm just proud of how long I was able to do the thing and still bring 100% every time, as much as I could, and to do Lynn's material. It's just beautiful. It was a beautiful experience, and I'm honestly still processing it, and I think I still will be for a while.
What made you decide to, I don't want to say give it up, but leave the show?
Yeah, it's something that has been floated with like my agents, and then people just kind of ask me the question, like, "Oh, how long do you think you're going to stay?" Or like, whatever. Are you tired of it? Or whatever. All these questions that came up, and I'm still in it, and I'm like, "This is great. I'm doing the thing. I'm good. I'm cool. You cool? We're cool. All right, let's go." I thought about it, like, maybe I should go, but why? Should I just go? Like, what's the reason? And so I was like, I'm gonna stay then, because I don't see any reason to go right now. And then, they say, like, you know when you know, right? When you know, it'll hit you, and it hit me about a year ago now in 2025. We're in 26 right now, so in 2025, it hit me. I was like, I think it's my time. It's my time to let the sword down. It's my time to gift someone else this blessing of this role, this character, this vessel, like this thing that has held me down and taught me so much over all these years, and I think I've grown in so much, and I think I've wrung every drip out of this role that I could, and I had nothing else. There was nothing else for me to give, and it really just felt like it is time.
So what is it like being in such a big play as Hamilton and playing the country's first president? Do you have any specific memories that stand out or any specific performances that stand out?
Oh man, with all these years, yeah, I've got a lot of different moments that have been really excellent. I think early on I was super nervous. I mean, I'm a huge fan, still a huge fan of the show. Really, really big fan of the show, and I loved it still every day. And early on when I was starting to do it, I was I was in it not I didn't I was in it for many reasons, but while I was
Mm.
about to start it, I was like, this is huge. Right? I remember even moments before I walked on stage, I had that moment as well. Like, this is massive. These people out here in the audience know this show perhaps more than me, right? Like, I love the
Mm.
show and I just went through a full rehearsal process, but the super fans are super fanning these days. And so it was like, man, some nerves kicked in, right? At that time. And I'm like, wow, that was one of the first moments that I was like, okay, you gotta just trust it. You've done the work.
Mm.
You've been here for weeks and 6 or 7 weeks, and you've been rehearsing hard. You know it. You know what you're doing. And I tried to deflect any of those negative thoughts of like, well, people know Chris, right? People know C-Jack really well, and even though that was before the Disney Plus was out, it was still like these people know it though. These are Tonys, they won the Tonys and all that. So it was really nerve wracking in the beginning, but I remember just like saying, trust the process, and then I just took that step. It was literally the seconds before I walked onto the stage for the first time. The moved in with the cousin, and all that. Like that's the first scene. So I remember that was a moment of growth. I remember just the weight of being in and grappling with being a person of color, being a black man playing George Washington, and dealing with that, and how it was mixed review and mixed reception with certain crowds and with certain times and certain political things and all that, and having to deal with that on a daily basis with people and who try to get really close to you, think they're closer than you than they actually are because of social media. And so I've had discussions like that. I've had beautiful moments out at the stage door, meeting little young children who were just excited about learning history, or of all races, but and specifically of people of color, see me and being inspired and excited about seeing someone who looked like them on stage, and then reach out to me years later and say like, "Hey, I chose musical theater because I saw your performance," and that massive, massive, massive on my heart. Those are huge moments. I've had several of them, and it just makes me so proud and happy and excited and blessed and also humbled by this thing that is so wonderful and it's changed the world in so many
Mm.
beautiful ways. Um, yeah, I've had a lot of things, and then there's fun things like Ryan Reynolds has come to the show several times, and now we're friends. And Viola Davis, who I'm like now is Auntie Viola Davis, who's come to the show several times. Like those are like fun, whatever, fun things as well. But the real impact is, for me, has been the personal growth, and also the children, the kids, the
Mm.
students who've come um, and I've interacted with. So yeah, I've had lots lots of interactions over my time.
Is there anyone that you saw, like kids that got on the show later on, like became, someone on Hamilton that while you were still there that you met years before or
Yeah, actually, this one particular girl that comes to mind actually is my girl Ashley. And um, you never know who's auditioning really, unless I mean you have friends and stuff, and so you hear about the stuff that's going on. But when you're in the thing, you're like in the thing, and
Mm.
you're kind of blind sometimes to what's going on outside in the real world or whatever. So when somebody's leaving, you usually don't know who's coming in and whatever. You have no idea. So we get new cast members all the time, and it's like, I don't know who you are, but welcome. And that's like on stage, right? And so we had this girl who jumped in at one point. This young woman, I should say, not a girl, but who came in, and she's doing her thing. Excellent dancer, really amazing. I knew just from the way she looked that she was younger, but I was like, okay, whatever, cool, cool, cool. We've had young people in this track, and this is awesome that you look so young. You're very talented. This is awesome. And then after a couple weeks, we started to get to know each other, and then she came to me and said, like, "Hey, I've been meaning to tell you, like, I have a picture with us at the stage door years ago. I'm just gonna show you." And it's like a picture of her when she was, I don't know, 15 or something. And I'm like, "Oh, that's so awesome!" Yeah.
It's great and makes me feel old at the same time.
Yeah, it's like that mix, the dichotomy of that like moment, like that. Wow, that is really awesome. Wow, you did that, and my gosh, you're on the stage. That's really awesome. And also, like, you were how old then?
Right.
But but I'm about that age now. What are you talking about? Yeah, that kind of thing. So yeah, I have had that as well.
Well, you mentioned how cast members, turn over. You talked about how you spoke with your predecessor at George Washington, with Chris Jackson. What was the conversation like with your successor, Isaiah Johnson, in the role of George Washington?
Oh yeah, oh, what a great question. So the thing that's great about Isaiah already had done the show actually. Isaiah was he was on, I think it was a tour. I don't know him super well personally. Well, all the Washingtons kind of know of each other. If we were on tours at the same time, or we had to do press things or social media things or whatever, we've interacted, and some more than the other. But he was in the company before I was actually in the company, so he was in it early on. Maybe I don't know if it was 16 or 2017, something like that. But on the tour, not on Broadway. So he was in it before that, and then I came in 2018. So I didn't have to impart anything on him. We just kind of like generally talked about the building a little bit, and talk about parenthood or whatever a little bit. The first time I saw him in the building, I knew who was coming in to take over before he was in the building. But I saw him for the first time. I remember the first time I saw him in the building was right before Right Hand Man. And the way the show starts for me is that we start with the beginning. Everyone's in their parchment and the cream, peach or whatever you want to call it, outfit. And then we do all that. And then like, Alexander Hamilton, boom, whatever. And then we go off. And then I have to change. And I get into my general stuff. And then my next entrance is Right Hand Man on stage right. And so I'm coming up stage right. And then I see a different human, because there's always people backstage, like dressers and crew members and stuff like that. And I see a different person. I'm like, oh, maybe somebody trailing somebody else or whatever. I don't know. And then I look and it's like, oh, that's Isaiah. Oh, snap. Okay. So I'm all like, I'm hyped, looking like, oh, okay, he's here. He's watching. Okay, he's watching. Okay, cool. Right. Yeah, we're good. All right, let's do the thing. It just, it's just a funny moment when I saw him and I was like, oh, what's up, man? What's good? I saw him later and chatted with him later. But we mostly just bonded as humans and talked about it as humans, because I knew he knew how to do the thing. I knew he was going to be fine. He'd already done it before me, and he's got his own whole system. He's different than me, right? We're different humans, so we bring different things to the track. And I was fortunate to be able to see his version of it a couple of weeks ago as well. And so he's great as well.
So the musical's in good hands from the George Washington perspective. From all roles, really. But,
that's
right.
I didn't know who was going to take over, but it is. It's all I could want, right? All I wanted is, after all that time, I wanted just like a good human to come in the building, a good energy, because we are a family in the building. Like the buildings are really truly family. We do the thing for so long, the crew, the hair, makeup, the wardrobe. We do Christmas things together and potlucks, and new babies come, and all kind of things. We're there together for each other in that building all the time. So when someone's coming in for someone else, we just hope that the person is a great energy for the building, because it's our family, and I'm leaving this family, but I want someone else in there cool. It doesn't have to be me, but it has to be, I want them to be cool. So he was cool. I know the building loves him.
You talk about the societal impact, the impact of Hamilton on society. What is the can you tell us a little bit about Ham for Progress and what that's been able to do during the run of the show?
Yeah, absolutely. The Hemp for Progress was the child of the pandemic, I'll say. A lot of things
Mm,
politically happening during the pandemic, and we all had a time where things were slowing down and we were able to think a bit more and be home with our thoughts for better or for worse, but certainly for better in many ways. And we, the cast members, kind of came together. We're like, how can we do something to benefit the community? And we asked the question of, has Hamilton, right? The company, we're employees of said company, but has Hamilton also done what they can to put to reinvest in the communities
mm,
uh, that the music comes from, right? Where this culture comes from, and so we took it to the producers and the management and all that, and said like, hey, we would love to talk to you guys about how to reinvest in these communities that are traditionally disinvested in.
mm.
And we had the meetings, and it was at the time I think it was like two members from each company because there was a lot of tours at that time. Two members from each company. I think it equaled about eight of us at the time, and we had our producers. And early on, Lynn was able to be because of the pandemic. Lynn was available to be around, and his father as well. Um, and we created the Hamilton Racial Justice Task Force, basically a Hand
Mhm.
for Progress. Um, and that was something we're and I'm still very proud of that we were able to do. And what we did is we tried to find initiatives that benefited the community. Like if we
Mhm.
could go to the students and say like, hey, we're going to have a scholarship, Hand for Progress scholarship. We worked with Gilder Lehrman to do different things in New York City, and they do program. I don't know exactly what um, their mission statement is, but I know they
Mhm.
work with history and with the schools, and through Hamilton they run that educational part of the Hand for Progress, and they're inside the schools, and so there might be like we have EduHams, which is the educational Hamilton experience that schools can partner with. And at the time, before COVID, we had kids classes that would go and like learn about Hamilton, sure, but like learn about history of that time.
Mhm.
And there'd be a musical aspect where they have to like write a song, and maybe several of the kids would write a song, and they would compete about who's who had the best song, or they might be judged and chosen by their peers, and then one representative from each of these schools would go to the EduCam event, which was at Hamilton at the Richard Rogers Theater, and they get to come on our stage and perform their song at the
Wow.
EduCam event, and then they do that, and then afterwards we would perform for them, and we do the show at 1 o'clock. So that'd be like I don't know 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, something like that, and then we do our show, and it was just such a powerful, amazing part of the job. Really, it's beyond the
Mm.
job, really, but part of the experience, I should say. And during the pandemic, things shifted, and we wanted to then be like, okay, so how can we add, scholarships or something like that? So we had people write essays or something, working with the kids in those ways, which is really amazing. Or if we found other programs, maybe through like Boys and Girls Club or something, we could work with and have mentor things, or we were reading books for a time, like narrating books or something like that. We also did voting, like get out and vote campaigns, and we worked with like the Obama administration. Michelle Obama at one point we had videos with her. She like ended a couple of our videos and things like that. Getting people registered to vote, getting them to understand the importance of the census, so you could be counted in your communities. All these kind of political things, like going into the community, and those were a lot of those things were birthed through the Hand for Progress experience.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
You've accomplished a lot in your acting career, but one thing that inquiring minds really want to know is what was it like singing songs on the South Park 25th anniversary episode, such as Chocolate Salty Balls and Gay Fish?
Oh man, that honestly was an incredible experience. That was really something to work with the South. I mean, I grew up with South Park, right? That is
Yep.
what me and my brothers and my most of my brothers, not my sisters really, but me and my brothers loved growing up. Being Chef or the Isaac Hayes of it all, and all. I mean, like
Mm.
loved that show. So getting the chance to do that for South Park was incredible. I mean,
Yeah.
and it just kind of like it happened. I was asked to do it, and I was like, it just came out of nowhere, and I was like, okay, great. They already had the idea, and the music supervisor was like, okay, let's do it. And I was like, okay, great, yeah. What are we doing? Oh, okay, gay fish. Okay. Kanye West thing, and it was just ridiculous the whole time. Brilliant, brilliant and ridiculous. And I remember we recorded it first. We went to the studio and we just laid it down, but we had to do it several times because we just gotten the music and like doing it live for the first time. And we're supposed to be kind of like serious. It's not supposed to be jokey, right? It's supposed to be like, do the thing, be serious and get it. And so we recorded it in the studio, and it was just, I can't believe we're saying this. This is ridiculous, and remarkable at the same time. And then we laid that down in the studio, and Stephen Aremus, who was like the music supervisor for Wicked, the original, and he was the guy putting it together, and we were with Nikki Renee Daniels and Elizabeth Stanley. I mean, like we were just having a great time. Really, truly having a great time. And then we recorded the video part of it, which was in New Jersey, and with the orchestra, with incredible orchestra musicians. I mean, these are top Broadway, New York City musicians, and there was a couple people from Hamilton actually,
Oh.
and it was amazing. Again, they were like, serious face. You're gonna say it as gay fish, you're gonna do it with a serious face.
You can't laugh.
You can't laugh. Yeah, all of that. Even the South Park, the theme song. I love Nikki Renee Daniels. She's like the sweetest human, and to hear her cursing at that with this, it was just like a highlight of my life right here. It's incredible. Yeah, and then it was on and everywhere, and the advertisements, YouTube things, all these different ads, and it was yeah, I've had a lot of people who were like, "Oh yeah, Hamilton," but like, "You're the South Park dude,"
Who cares about Hamilton? You're on South Park.
Right. Gay fish dude, man. I'm like, yeah, that's me in the text. Yeah, it was amazing.
Do you still get butterflies or get nervous before performances at all?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think I grew up really shy, very shy kid, a little introverted for sure, maybe a lot of introverted, and it just was like I talked to my life coach about this. Like it's like stage fright is like a little demon or your little gremlin, that's what she calls it, a little gremlin on your shoulder telling you things like you can't do it, you're gonna sound terrible. What about this? Who's on? All the little things. A little gremlin there. But sometimes it's not a gremlin. Sometimes it's a friend because it's born of like survival. So it's there speaking in your ear, trying to make sure that you don't get hurt or get embarrassed or get whatever. So it's trying to be there and tell you whatever, but it also is a liar, right? So it took me a while to like come to terms with that gremlin, if you will, and try to become friends with it. But the relapse is real, like it happens all the time. When I saw that Viola Davis was in the audience, now I'm nervous again. I'm like, oh wow, okay, cool. Or the 10-year anniversary when we did that performance, I was like, wow, there are like, I don't know if it was like 100 alumni, Hamilton alumni in the audience, something like that, like a massive number of alumni, and it freaked me out because there were like four or Washingtons in the audience, and I'm very confident in what I'm doing and what I do and what I've done all this time, but that little gremlin comes up and starts talking to you like, hey, sometimes you crack. so so those those things are real, man. It's no one is No one is exempt from that a little bit of fear, but it's like fight or flight, right? You can either run away from the thing, or you can be like, hey, we're doing this. I said yes. We are doing this. I'm gonna step forward. It doesn't mean I'm not scared anymore, but it means I'm using this thing to plow forward, and you use it and try to turn it into fuel, right? You try to turn that fear into motivation and excitement, and then, after it's done, maybe your heart's still pounding and whatever. But yeah, it certainly happened even within the show, but in the world too, right? You have an audition and you're like,
Sure.
I don't know, I want to try something. You might think this sucks. I have no idea. I might, maybe this is completely not what you're thinking, and maybe I'll be an embarrassment. I don't know. I don't know. Well, you just gotta be brave and like step out there and give it what you can, and start to really like. One other thing, last thing to say on this particular thing, but like I've started realizing that my nerves or my stage fright, I started asking myself, why? Why do you have this? And many of the times my answer was because I'm the fear of the unknown. So I'm like, okay, so let's address that. Let's talk about it. And I'm like, okay, what now? The unknown is like, well, will they like me? Will they blah, blah, blah? I'm like, okay, well, you can't do anything about that, right? You just have no control over that. What else is in there? I'm like, oh, well, will I forget? Will I forget the words? Will I crack? Will I look stupid as far as my acting choices? And it's like, okay, those things you can do something about. Right? You can practice. You can really make sure you know all the words. You can practice the high note as much as you can, and then do it. Like actually just practice. And then when you realize you can do it, okay, maybe you're not so nervous anymore because you're like, I got this. So preparation was a big way of me conquering a lot of that stage fright. So yeah, certainly I have dealt with that and still do deal with that.
Is it difficult to tune out? I mean, what was your philosophy around, there's all kinds of things going out on social media, like, and Broadway critics, and they say this, they say that. Was it important for you to take all of that with a grain of salt, or how did you approach, feedback that was, submitted throughout the various publications that exist?
Yeah, it's all over, right? Everybody's a critic now.
It's everywhere.
It's really
Ain't social media grand sometimes?
Oh man.
the power of not having your face in front of the thing. Yeah,
Seriously.
yeah, no. It is. It can be challenging, right? Like I think if anyone says that they just straight up do not read reviews or don't whatever, I think they're lying. I think we are humans. At the end of the day, we want to be liked. I think at the end of the day, we want people to like or love what we're doing. No one wants to be hated. So, I'm personally, I'm not obsessed with it, but it's something that I've learned to manage myself. And I'm like, I want to know what the reviews are. I want to know how the people feel, and not necessarily to change what I'm doing, but just to kind of get a gauge. And it took me a while to get a healthy relationship with that. And I think it will, it'll morph, it'll change like we do as humans. But for me, I was able to take any kind of critique and try to find the truth or the root of what maybe someone was saying, and then decide for myself whether or not that had value for me. There was someone who, even like simple things, someone who said like, hey, he sounds way too opera-y. I don't like his George Washington. And I'm like, well, I'm an opera singer. So yeah, okay, great. Yeah, that's valid. If that's not your thing, then sure. And I know that I'm not doing the opera thing because I know what opera sounds like. So what you're hearing is training actually, and not harm on my instrument. So great. That's fine. Yeah, cool. Next, those kind of things. So yeah, I do what I can, but we read them. We're humans. They come across. It's also part of like the publicity stuff where like sometimes you get like Google alerts like, hey, your name showed up. You want to make sure that no one is trying to whatever slander your name or whatever. So I take a glance, like, okay, is anyone saying I like stole their baby? No. Okay, good. All right.
Is a return to Broadway in the cards at all?
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely on the list. Right now, I'm I'm in no rush. I'm auditioning when things feel right or feel like a story I want to be a part of,
Mm.
or a team I want to be a part of. But I'm in no rush right now. I'm really, that's a long time. Not a lot of people get the opportunity. It was very special to do 7.5
Sure.
years, and that is exhausting. It's exhausting. Most shows, especially these days, like shows last 6 months, and like a good run is like a year. That's like a good run of a Broadway show. That's success. And so to do this long is almost unheard of. Like
Yeah.
there's a few of these shows that we call, the theater folks call it, like our government jobs, right? The government jobs of our industry. And it's like Lion King, and it was Phantom of the Opera, but that closed, right? And my wife was in that one.
Oh.
And Lion King, whatever, Chicago, like, yeah, Aladdin is kind of, so some of those like really long running shows. It's a special thing. It's a special and unique thing that not everybody, it's a very small percentage of people, not everybody understands what it takes to do something like that for so long, right? If you can do like, hey, I'm going to do these backflips and flips and jumps out of buildings and do all this stuff, and I'm going to do that for 3 months because I can't do it longer than that. Like that's one thing. It's like, that's really impressive for 3 months. That's awesome. Can you do that for 7.5 years? Like, that's a different thing. Now we're talking about stamina and maintaining your instrument and your capability, and your focus and not reining it in. That's a whole different skill. Um, and I did that, which is great, and but I'd be happy if I took a little break right now. Like you said earlier, I got a new baby. I got a second kid here too, my son, and I'm good if I slow down a little bit and just do a couple other things. I'm still performing, still singing, doing
Mm.
voiceover, so whatever. Um, but I'm in no rush to jump back on Broadway. But whenever it comes, yeah, I'll be excited to jump back in.
How did you get into the performing arts to begin with? Was it something you said you were very introverted when you were a kid, right? So was
Yeah.
it something that you did when you were, middle school, high school, or something like that?
Well, not musical theater. I didn't do it in musical theater in middle school. A little bit in high school, but I was a pianist first, and that's where my passion is. My father is a DJ, like vinyl records and all that, old school DJ, Jamaican reggae, dance hall, all that kind of stuff. Like that is my father, and so music was always around. And my mother as well. My mother loved music. She was a pianist, is a piano, plays piano, and sings. And so both of my parents loved music. So that was my intro to music, or being, my mom was a nurse by trade, and my dad ran a business doing music. He was a promoter, he DJ, that was his business. But my mom was a nurse by trade. And but music was around, and so they allowed me, as both of them are immigrants, and so it's a rare story to like immigrants allow their children to not be doctors. But they allowed me to explore. They allowed me to explore my creative side, and I forever grateful to them for their passion and seeing my skills and saying, "Hey, let's harness that. Let's try that. Let's try to see where that goes." And so I'm forever grateful for their support for all over these years. And so I was a pianist, classical piano, and there was high school. I went to School of the Arts High School in Rochester, not in New York City, but Rochester School of the Arts. I'm from Rochester, New York, for folks who don't know. And I started discovering after, let's see, I went to Eastman as well in Rochester. I got my master's degree there in opera. It was called vocal performance and literature. It was a degree from Eastman. And I did that, did some opera stuff, and then I discovered musical theater after my master's program. That's when I really discovered it for myself. I did a little bit in high school, but it was like a glee club, and there were some classes, like I learned some musical theater history or whatever, and I had some of those classes, but I never felt like that was anything I wanted to do professionally. There was no, I didn't feel like there was a lot of representation, to be honest. Like it was like, it felt like a cool thing over there that had nothing to do with me or my folks, you know? So it wasn't really my thing, but, you know, that said, I did go into opera, so like whatever. But, um, so, um, but like I found my love for musical theater after that in Rochester doing community theater things. It was I did Rent and The Wiz and Little Shop of Horrors. Those are three shows I did in Rochester that really shifted my mind to like, okay, I think this musical theater thing is really cool. I'm going to explore that a little bit. And I kind of never looked back at that point. And that was the real catalyst for like, okay, what does Broadway mean? What is that? And Miss Watson, rest in peace, Miss Terrell Watson was huge inspiration for me. She was my voice teacher at School of the Arts, and she's the one who really forced me to sing. She literally forced me. I was like, I don't want to do that. I'm shy. I don't want to stand in front of people and sing. I can hide behind a piano, right? That I can do. But standing in the center of a room and singing, no, not interested. I'm good. And then she forced me to do it, and I thank you. Yeah.
Did your siblings go into the doctor trade instead?
What a great question. No, actually, no, my sister is a nurse, so she did that, is doing that. So she's a nurse, so she followed after my mother and my grandmother and my aunts and all the women in my family are nurses. But everybody else was kind of, they took after kind of my father as far as entrepreneurs. So I have a lot of siblings who were just doing their thing, trying to figure out what their passion is and how to make money from that passion. So we were allowed to explore that, which is again very special thing. Like, what are you interested in? You're not going to do nothing, right? You got to get good grades and you got to do something. So figure it out. I'll support you on this thing you want to do, and then that's it. So. But no, nobody was interested in the medical field. Sorry, Mom, except for my sister. Yeah.
So we'll switch gears here a little bit and talk about Oswego. So you were recently part of the second TEDx SUNY Oswego conference up in Oswego. What was that experience like?
Yeah, that was great. That was a really great special thing. I had never thought I would do a TED Talk at all. It was not on my vision board, I'll tell you. It was just, it's part of that gremlin thing, right? Like, I'm like, okay, sure. I figured out how to like step in front of people and sing stuff. I know how to sing stuff now. Like, that's really great. And I do lecture in different schools and colleges. I do that kind of thing with students. But to stand on a stage, a TED Talk stage, which we all know is, we all know what TED Talk is. So stand on a TED Talk stage, and behind you is these giant letters that say TED Talk, and speak for 13 minutes or whatever. I think it was no longer than 18 minutes, I believe was the rule. And I was like, great, I'll do less than that. That's fine. And then, honestly, I think I almost ended right by like maybe 17 minutes actually. So I actually spoke longer than I intended, but that was it was scary in the good way. Like my love for my fear is so different than when I was younger. Now this was literally the topic of my TED Talk. I was about to start going into it. You got 18 more minutes? It was called Say Yes Before It's Easy. And that really, truly is how I've tried to live my life. Like, when something comes up and I feel that inner fear come up, I shift that and say, okay, I think there's growth here. Like, if there's fear here, I think there's something for me to learn behind this door. So I found that has usually been the case for me throughout my life when I've been scared, like when I was scared to sing, right? And Miss Watson came and said, no, we're going to sing. I said, sure, yeah. I said, yes, There's a long Hamilton story that's whatever long, but I had to turn down Hamilton for my first. Well, it's actually like a final callback because I was doing another show, and I had to say no at that time, or I felt I had to, because I was doing this other thing, and I didn't want to look unprofessional because I committed to this thing. But then it came back again the next time when they were like, okay, you said no before, but we're still interested. And I said, yes, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And then I booked it, right? So there's a lot of moments where I said yes before it's easy, and that's what my TED talk was about. And it was just a great experience. And I look forward to. I don't yet have the footage from that yet, though, but it should be out soon. So yeah, it was pretty awesome.
How different is speaking at something like that versus, being on a stage performing, right? Like obviously you're a performer at heart and it's kind of like
Yeah.
a performance to a certain extent, right? But there's also a difference between the two.
It is, and it's funny that a lot of the other TED Talk folks, I can't remember if it was six people. I think they do like six people in one night, so maybe an hour and a half or something like that. And a lot of the other folks were like professors or founders of another organization or whatever, like different. They had different topics, which were all really, really diverse. Really, it was really cool. But there were a lot of them that were like, "You're a performer. Give me some tips on like how to do this thing on the stage." And I'm like, "I'm nervous too, y'all." But I realize, it is different. It is different because like on a stage, I'm not a musical theater composer, right? Like I do what the composer wrote, what the writers wrote. So I can kind of rest assured that like I am just doing the thing. My job is to memorize these lines and interpret the text and the characters' choices to the best of my ability, from what I believe the writers intended. Right? Like that is my job. So I'm removed a little bit from that kind of criticism, a little bit. I mean, people can have opinions on how I interpret it, but at the end of the day, they're not my words, right? So whatever comes out of my mouth, it's that person's words, and that was like how I got out when said I was nervous and played piano instead. Like I hid behind the piano. The way I hid is because I'm like, hey, this piano stuff is that's Beethoven's music. If you don't like it, I didn't write it. I'm just like, so it's a funny thing that how you learn to cope or whatever. That was a thing when, like I said, the gremlin was there to help me, to protect me and allow me to still do the thing. So that's how I got through as a 12-year-old, 14-year-old, whatever. Um, but that is the difference. That's the difference between being on stage and giving your own lecture. Like you wrote this; these are your ideas. You have to stand behind them and say, "This is how Tamar Greene feels." And if you don't like it, it's because of me, or whatever. Like it's because of you, really. But like, that's the difference. You have to own the thing and be like, this is how you have to say it with your chest and stand behind it. And that is, it feels like you're exposed, right? Like you are naked on that stage, basically. Like, like people might like it, it might not, and the moments when I told my thing and some people like laughed and I'm like, oh, okay, this is being received well. All right, cool. All right, this is good. And then kind of gives you fuel to move forward. And that's like a trick from just stage stuff anyway, theater stuff. So I was able to tap in. So the people were right. I could have given them some advice about how to work a stage. I know how to work a stage. But yeah, but it is different when you're doing your own speech. And I've done commencement speeches before. And it's like, all right, I'm going to do my best and hope that this is something that's received well, because I wrote this thing and these are things I want. And it's scary to do that. And yeah, it's scary.
So we like to ask the alumni that join our podcast a couple questions. First off,
Yeah.
how did growing up in Rochester, attending high school there, looking at colleges, how did Oswego wind up on your radar?
Okay, yeah. I was when I graduated School of the Arts,
Mhm.
I my parents wanted me to go right into music into college, and I was actually at a point, as teenager, wanting to make his own decisions or whatever. It's so funny. It's like an opposite of other people's immigrant stories. It's like they're trying to force you into being a doctor, and my dad was trying to force me into being a pianist, right? And I'm like, I don't want to do that, whatever. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to go and make some money somewhere. I'm like, no, be a pianist. It's it was a funny thing as I'm older now thinking about that situation. But basically, I didn't know. I didn't want to go into music anymore. I've done music all my life, and I was like, I want to do something else that I am passionate about too, but something else. And so I was still auditioning, and I auditioned for another SUNY school that was music school, and I got in there, but I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. So I ended up staying in Rochester and going to MCC, Monroe Community College, for a little bit while I can get my mind together and figure out what I wanted to do. And that's when I discovered the other side of what I want to do, which is computers and computer related stuff. And I got a degree in computer information systems from MCC. And at the time, they had a 2+2 program, and they had relationships with a lot of SUNY schools. And then SUNY Oswego came up, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And it's not too far, actually. All right, let me look into this. And I saw their program. And then I was like, okay, I'm committed to this computer thing, but I wonder if they have music too. I just was curious. Like, let me just see and take a look. And I looked, and they did. They had music, and they had great teachers who would, research them, and they studied at great schools. I was like, okay, wow, they got great. That's great. I would love to at least take lessons while I do my computer thing at Oswego. And again, it's not far. And so that was enticing for me. I'm like, okay, great. Let's go out to Oswego. I've never been there before, even though it was only an hour or whatever from Rochester. I've never been there before. And of course, I saw that lake. And so, they definitely advertised that sunset on the lake.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah. And it is gorgeous. And of course, I've heard about the snowstorms and the ropes between buildings and all that. That was also a tale. But I went out there, and man, it was really the perfect place for me, because I continued that computer degree, and I not stumbled into, because I knew it was there. I just didn't know I was going to be a major, but I ended up being a major in both. I double majored, kind of triple majored actually. Like, I did the computer information systems, and then I did piano, and I did voice. So I did all of them, because I'm like, I'm not going to give up that. My logical brain was kicking in. I'm like, I'm going to do all these things. I don't know what a career in piano or music or whatever is. But I know there's a track record for computer stuff and making some fun, making some money and whatever. So I got that degree, and I was able to do that because it was a SUNY school, SUNY Oswego. They had multiple majors and such that you could focus on and explore, and it ended up being perfect for me. And even now, like we talked about the pandemic a little bit earlier, and I use my computer degree in different ways all the time. Even went to Eastman. I went to Eastman after Oswego, and I was able to be a TA, and make some money as a TA working in the computer music department. And, beyond that, and going back to the pandemic, I was able, while the world shut down and there was no one could be on the stage, I knew that I knew computers, so I could figure out how to do my own concerts on my own computer, and learn how to set up my camera and my lights and do all that stuff. I learned a lot of that stuff from Oswego, so I'm so forever grateful for my experience there, and my teachers are still friends. They've still come to my shows, and Todd and Graber and Rob Aller, and there's so many great teachers who I met there, and mentors of mine who've been there for me all these years. So yeah, I love my experience with Oswego. My little brother went there after I went there as well, and yeah, it'll always be a special place for me.
So one final question before we get you out of here. We'd like to ask our alums and anyone Oswego adjacent these last two questions here. Was there any food on campus that you really enjoyed, particularly in the dining room? Like our favorite was always a chicken patty sandwich because, of course, off campus for us, it was always Oswego Sub Shop. What were you indulging in back in that day?
I was definitely going to say sub shop. That was that was it, and it was the chicken cutlet sandwich for me.
Okay.
The chicken
Okay.
cutlet with everything. Was it, they call it? Did they call it the works, or did they call it?
Yeah,
I can't
the
remember exactly
works.
what it was. Was it the
Yeah,
works?
yeah,
That what it
yeah.
is. Yeah, chicken cutlet with the works and honey mustard on there. That was my jam, and that's still one of my. I don't know if it's the bread and I don't know if it's the breading or what. I don't know what it is, but it's still one of my favorite. I went out there and when I did the TED Talk, I was like, I'm going to Sub Shop, and it was just like the best sandwich I've ever had. Like it's so good still, and yeah, I'm like they should name that sandwich after me.
I was just gonna say they should get. I was
We
just
need
gonna
to start
say
a
that.
petition. That's it. We're
That's
starting
funny.
a petition.
I was just gonna say that they should name it. They should name the sandwich after you now.
Writing this down. Writing this down.
We're gonna talk to them about this.
That's right.
We're
We'll
gonna
get in
try
touch.
we're gonna see what we can do.
It's amazing, and they had good. The chocolate chip cookie was good too. They always had those chocolate chip cookies sitting out there in the front,
Oh yeah.
enticing people. But yeah, that's my jam. I'm drooling thinking about it. I haven't eaten dinner yet.
We were always the cheeseburger sub
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
but you know.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've had that too. It's also really good. Yeah, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
Well, Tamar, we really appreciate you coming on and speaking with us for a little bit and going over your career and your time at Oswego. And we wish you nothing but the best, in the future. And we hope to see you back on Broadway or maybe doing some more South Park episodes at some point.
Well, thank you, Ed. This has been a great conversation. I appreciate y'all having me on here. It truly is nice to see some Oswego alum here chatting it up and seeing the Oswego banner behind you there, Chris. It's awesome. It's great for us to all support each other. So I appreciate y'all. It's been great talking with you.
And that was 2009 Oswego graduate, actor, singer, and pianist Tamar Greene. Guys, that was a fantastic interview. I think, the insights that he gave us into, Hamilton and just acting and, things that he's done in the past, the TED Talk, like just really, really great insights and conversation that we had there.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, that's man, he was really good. Like I just can't. There's no other way to say it, but he was just really good.
Yeah,
Like
and
you can
funny,
tell
too.
he's a performer, and he's funny. Yeah, he's got charisma. He's got. It's so like you can't picture him being an introvert, right?
No, definitely not.
You know,
Definitely not.
like it's
I was
'cause he's
surprised
got-
to hear that one.
He's got that charisma, like that stage, presence and
Right.
whatnot. But there's something that really stuck out with me when he was talking about that gremlin on his shoulder and like that stage fright type of thing. I'm not trying to compare soccer refereeing to what he does by any means, but anytime it's game day, I can't stop thinking about, oh man, what is going to go wrong in this game? What if I miss a call? What if this coach starts arguing with me? What if a player, starts doing whatever? Like, but when the game starts, it's like a switch.
Yeah.
It just like totally goes away, which is so weird. It's such a weird thing.
Oh yeah. I mean, I still get nervous sometimes playing like softball and like just being like, I don't want to screw up, even though it's like stupid rec softball. Like it's not even important, but like it's just one of those things. Like you have some nerves because you're like, I want to play well. I don't want to screw up.
Yeah, you want to
right?
be your best.
Right. Or
Yes.
like when he was saying, like, I was thinking, like not like you said, not the same thing, but like, I remember having to do speeches and things like that. And just like in my mind, freaking out and being like,
Yes.
so nervous, the stage fright of just going in front of a class and talking and like, and we were broadcasting majors and like
And isn't
you
that
put me behind
crazy?
a microphone.
Yeah.
You put me behind a microphone and I could like go and do a hockey game.
Yep.
But I have to go in front of a 30 class, 30 people in a classroom. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah,
Like I remember I had people in college being like, how do you do that? Like, how do you just do, I don't know. It's just, I just do it. I just
Right. You just
I don't
turn the
know.
microphone on.
I
You
just
start
turn the
talking.
microphone on. I start talking. I don't know. Just did it. I just enjoy it and I do it. That's it. Like, but then yeah, I'd get terrified of going in front of a
Yeah.
class.
Yeah. Do you guys remember Quest? That there was that
Yeah.
thing that
The
some
free day
classes did.
off.
Well, so Dr. Mac, who we've had on the podcast,
Yeah.
made me do something, and this is for his. It was like something history and sports or something class. I don't remember exactly what it was, but he had me do a presentation on hooligans,
Okay.
like soccer hooligans. I was terrified, terrified. I could barely get through it,
Yeah.
and there was like 15 people in the room. Like I just.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go to the video. I just,
Yeah. Exactly. Video is your best friend. Video.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, I remember doing like we'd have to do. I remember freshman year, I took speech. I took or whatever that speech class was that you had to take, and I also took like an English 102 or whatever it was, and I had to do like a paper, like a regular like a term paper, but we had to go in front of the class and discuss the term paper and talk about it. And I did the same thing for both because it was just easy to, it was perfect. So I did the same thing for both. And I was able to like use a couple like videos and things like that in there. It was like break it up, waste some time. You know what I mean? I was like, this is great. I could waste as much time as I want with the videos.
For me, I've had to, one thing I've gone to this annual conference as part of work, and most of the past conferences I've spoken at a session. And so like a couple of times I've gone up there and I've got mic'd up and I look out and there's like 200 people.
Oh my God.
Like sitting out there in this big conference room or this
I'd be
big ballroom.
sweating. I'd be sweating all over the place.
Yes.
Every crevice of my body would be sweating.
I was. And then, so then when the person introduces you, then you go up and you just start talking. And then I kind of settle down after that. But it's like just waiting for that cue to start talking. That's the worst.
Oh, the worst.
Yeah, it's not as bad. It's not as bad when you're with other people. But it's more like when you're by yourself. You know what I mean? Like if I had to do one of those speeches where it was like multiple people, I was never as bad because could be interactive. You know what I mean?
Right.
But when you were by yourself and you were the only person up there and everyone is staring at you, I'd be like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
It's such a weird thing, and like you said, we're broadcast majors.
Yeah.
We could talk into this stupid microphone forever.
Right? No one's staring at me. No one's looking at me.
We just hope we sound coherent.
Right. Yeah. This thing could be live, and I could do this without a problem because
no issues. Right.
But if we were doing this live and people were staring at me, I'd be like, oh yeah.
Can you imagine if we had like a studio audience we'd had to do this in front of? That'd be freaking hilarious.
Oh, man. That'd be crazy.
Can you believe it? Another summer's about to now that Memorial Day was just a couple days ago. It's already summertime.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Seemed like we were just like previewing the hockey season in the fall, and now it's summertime.
I mean,
it's true.
Yeah, you got NBA, NHL playoffs kind of wrapping up soonish, and baseball season's in full swing. MLS is in full swing. The World Cup is going to start very soon, right around the corner. So can't wait for that as well.
It's going to go by quick. Before you know it, guys, we'll be previewing hockey again.
It's true. It's very true. I mean, Oswego just named their new captain for next season already. So I mean, they're already on their way. They're moving. They're chugging along. So, but that'll do it for this episode of the Throwing Bagels podcast. We're on social media. We got Instagram. We got Book of Faces. We got Threads. We got it all. Throwing Bagels podcast at gmail.com. You can reach us at any time. We're on YouTube. That's pretty much it. So, fellas,
cool.
This was a good one.
All right.
We'll see you next time.
Yes, sir.
You got it.
Sayonara.
Bye.
Bye.